Hello, and welcome to JFK Book Reviews, a series by the Lone Gunman Podcast, which I do with my co-host here, Mr. Rob Clark. Hello. And today we will be reviewing the book, The Final Truth, Solving the Mystery of the JFK Assassination. This is by Edward J. Bauer. Yeah, you can see it right there. Not super thick, but you could definitely smack it a little bit. It consists of 19 chapters, but is preceded by a list of pre-appendices, if you will, of illustrations, one of tables, preface, intro. The meat and potatoes of the 19 chapters is about 210 pages, and then there are 4 appendices. First one being the translation of the Walker letter to Marina, which I know we've gone over on the show recently. B, a timeline sequence of the bullet from Main Street. C, Harold Weisberg's 4 court cases against the FBI. And D, dealing with the Dallas Cinema Associates. Appendices are about 8 pages long, and there's a pretty solid footnotes section. It's about 25 pages, also with a bibliography section and an index section as well. It is available on Kindle instantly for $6.99, on Amazon paperback new for $12.95, about $13, and used copies start from about $9. The author, Edward Bauer, has been researching the Kennedy assassination since the day it happened, but it would never have been solved without his hands-on experience in rifle marksmanship and film editing. He has been writing for newspapers, radio, and television for over 40 years, including a university-acclaimed video series of conflict simulations. He holds a master's from the Graduate School of Syracuse University and a bachelor's from Newhouse School of Public Communications at Syracuse University. So credibility seems okay. This is the only book he has written. And Rob, this book has a lone nutter lean to it.
Yes, unfortunately it does, Joe. And this will be our first, I believe, our first lone nut book that we're going to be reviewing.
Well, Robert Oswald.
Well,
Kind of.
Yeah. This is the first
real one.
First real removed person from the case writing about it, lone nut wise. Now, I was duped into buying this book, Joe. I was.
It looks like a conspiracy book.
Yeah, and that's why I bought it. I mean, The Final Truth, Solving the Mystery of the JFK Assassination, breaks more new ground than any work of this tragedy. Serious history finally written correctly. You know, you figure this is a conspiracy book. But I got it, and I started reading it, and I was like, hold on a minute. What is going on here? Now, you know, the Warren Commission got everything right, Joe. So why do you need to write a book called The Final Truth, Solving the Mystery of the JFK Assassination when they already persecuted Lee Harvey Oswald as the lone assassin? I don't know.
That's a good question.
And the more I started reading this book, because, you know, I like to see where these guys are thinking from. And the author does spend a lot of time on Lee Harvey Oswald, his past, and the shot sequence in Dealey Plaza. One of his big theories in this book, okay, is that Oswald was a scary good marksman, right? And that as he sat up there and he reassembled his rifle with a dime or whatever, his fingernail, I don't know, maybe a zipper. You know, he was smart enough to realize that the rifle's just not sighted in. Okay, so the first shot, Joe, was an intentional miss. He purposely fired towards the curb just to see how far off his scope was. And he was so scary good, that he immediately accounted for that distance, that his scope was off.
Right. Without actually adjusting the scope.
Right. He just shot, he looked through it, shot, and maybe it went, down to the left a little bit or up and to the right a little bit. Who knows? But he immediately corrected on a moving vehicle, a moving target, moving away from him, and managed to account for that difference and successfully strike JFK twice in the back. Now, I don't know about all that. That sounds like a bunch of horse shit to me. He does go into some of the medical evidence as well. Not a lot. Believe me, a lot of this stuff is spent with Oswald in mind. And you did mention, Joe, that there is a footnote section. And unfortunately, every other footnote is Gerald Posner case closed, John McAdams' website, Dale Myers' website. It's like Lone Nutter Central.
Right.
So to me, if you're footnoting another author's book, I mean, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do some real research. Come up with some documents instead of parroting all these guys and just throwing your own opinion in. Now, I want to read a short piece of this because this guy is not just a lone nutter. He is a pompous asshole who thinks that you, the reader, is an idiot if you believe in a conspiracy. Listen to this, Joe. Researchers, authorities, and students of this horrific event to which we are becoming inured, but ought never be completely, are divided into two camps, the lone nutters and the conspiracy theorists. The amicability of other hobbyists, say stamp collectors, has been replaced with unprecedented polarization, vituperation, and ad hominem attacks on a widespread scale. Now, there's a fancy mix of a lot of big words that I will be perfectly honest with you and tell you that I don't know the meaning of. The polarization has left no middle ground. The lone nutters argue that Oswald acted alone from start to finish, and that Oswald's assassin Jack Ruby acted alone from beginning to end. Nobody knew what anybody else was doing, and no compromise. The rest of you are kooks. The conspiracy theorists insist that there were several individuals, large organizations involved throughout conspiracies before the shooting in Dealey Plaza itself and afterwards, conspiracies involving surgeons at Parkland Hospital, those conducting the autopsy of Bethesda, J.D. Tippit, Jack Ruby, the CIA, the Mafia, the FBI, Fidel Castro, Little Miss Muffet, and groups no one has ever heard of. Never going to change our minds. The rest of you are dupes. If there were some semblance of intelligent, rational, mature discussion here, where everyone was pulling on the same rope, a middle ground might be reached. For example, it is possible that up to the instant President Kennedy was killed, there was no conspiracy. Oswald acting on his own was that lone nut, and that is simply just that. But precisely at that moment, Z313, that would be the headshot, a conspiracy sprang forth, a conspiracy to A, silence Lee Harvey Oswald, thus denying him the platform to make wild accusations of it wasn't me, and 2, ensure a common faith in the stability of our system of government by convincing its citizens that only a single deranged lunatic could pull off such a crime. That conspiracy, for the good of the country, might have involved the Dallas Police Department, Dallas County Sheriff's Office, Jack Ruby, LBJ White House, the Hoover FBI, the Warren Commission, and perhaps others. Most of it tacit, unspoken, but completely understood. This possible scenario is submitted as a middle ground starting point for a cordial, respectful, back and forth discussion. No insistence is made that any of it is a dogma. It is a merely part lone nutter, part CT. And afterward, we'll buy each other a beer. And then you can go fuck yourself. How about that, Edward Bauer? I mean, what kind of shit is this? And then he's got a section at the end that he titles Heroes. Okay, these are people that he think are heroes in this story. One is Officer J.D. Tippett. One is Johnny Calvin Brewer.
Okay.
One is Gerald Ford. Listen to this shit. Gerald Ford, for 15 years, the sole surviving member of the Warren Commission, until the publication of Gerald Posner's Case Closed in 93, his was virtually the only voice defending the single gunman point of view, reiterating that we got it right. Besieged from all sides, it would have been easy for him to back off a bit, perhaps citing a lack of technology, but he stood up for the truth. And he also moved the back wound down about 5 inches from the neck to the back.
Yeah.
Secret Service agent Clint Hill. Now, I'll give him that. That's some hero shit, right? What he did, what Clint Hill did.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he mentions Jackie Kennedy being another hero. Well, she didn't do much other than, be in the worst place at the worst time possible.
Well,
And
she stood in defiance with the dress full of blood.
well, yeah, but I mean,
I can accept that.
okay. And like I said, excuse me, I don't know what to make of this book, Joe. I believe the author got his point across that all lone nutters are idiots, right? And that they got it right at the Warren Commission, except for a couple things, right? Some innocent mistakes here or there, and his whole new shot theory, that Oswald was such a scary good marksman, and he picks and chooses and cherry picks his evidence all through the book, as all lone nutters do.
Right.
And it's just a joke of a book. I'm glad this is the only book that Edward Bauer ever decided to write. And if I could get my money back for this piece of shit, I would. That is how bitter I am about this book, Joe.
I could see that.
Because I was duped into buying it thinking it was a conspiracy book.
I bet you're not the only one who fell for that.
Right. I mean, it's a good looking book. It's got a nice color, deal on it. Nice glossy. And, it's got all the shit on the back, the rifle, the Zapruder camera, the pistol, the motorcade picture. And
I think that's intentional for sure.
yeah. No theories is what it says. The first thing on the back, but yet he puts forth in this book his own theories that are definitely WRONG. Wrong, wrong, wrong. So, Joe, with that being said, tell me how you felt about this book, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in pretty much complete agreement with you. I think it is well written. I think he tries to make his points and makes them in a decent way. But I agree with almost all of them. So in short, I am going to give this very low 3 guns up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to disagree with you. I find nothing redeeming at all about this book. It's written from a standpoint of higher than downness, as most lone nutters do. And, making me look up words like viperturalism or whatever crap is in here. And, picking on Harold Weisberg for pursuing his law-given rights to FOIA request things and busting his balls about that is just ridiculous. Harold Weisberg was a trailblazer in that sort of thing, and for him to just totally make him out to be a zealot is just beyond me. Just beyond me. And like I said, I couldn't find anything redeeming about this book. I learned absolutely nothing. I felt talked down to this entire book. I felt name called throughout reading this entire book. And I hated it. Hated it. Hated it. So with that being said, Rob, Big Bad Bob, is going to give this piece of shit his very first one gun up.
Okay.
And it's going to be this one to this right here. Because I wasted my money on this.
Yeah. I hear you.
So with that being said, folks, that's the book. That's the review. The Final Truth, Solving the Mystery of the JFK Assassination by Ed Bauer. R.I.P. to that piece of crap. But if you enjoyed the book review, we do a podcast here every Friday night live at 7 p.m. and another show on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for our channel members, where we go into investigating all different aspects of the Kennedy assassination. So if you dug this, you'll definitely dig that. Make sure to check them out. Click on the playlist over at our channel, and you'll find everything. So for Joe Borelli and Rob Clark, till next time, you can check out this one, or check out this one, or that one, or this one, or that one. And we'll see you next time. Wherever I put them.
Thanks, guys.